Welcome to Tech Abilities, produced live in the Blind Abilities studio. I want to thank all of you for listening and for sending in your feedback. It's well appreciated. And if you want to send us some feedback, give us a call at 612-367-6093. Leave a message. We'd love to hear from you. Or send us an email at info@blindabilities.com. Be sure to check out the show notes for all the tech tidbits and news that we cover in this episode. And you can use chapters. If your podcast player of choice has the chapters feature, go ahead, nibble away at this episode, or take it all in one big meal. That's the way it was designed. And chapters work good, and we love to make that feature available. So without further ado, let's get this show started.
There's a little factoid.
I don't want to look silly.
You want Apple to come out with the brand new wireless extension cord.
Running JAWS as an open window versus running it in the system tray.
Doo-doo-doo. Is that the sound it made?
Explain to him, if my phone is out of my possession for 5 minutes, I'm off the grid.
Purchase the AirPod 3s because
612. I don't know the rest. Da-da, da-da.
612-367-6093. Give us a call. You ready, Kelly?
I'm here.
That doesn't mean you're ready.
No. I am ready. I'm ready.
Live from the Blind Ability Studio, this is Tech Abilities, and I'm Jeff Thompson from Friendly Freely, Minnesota. And with me over there in Colorado, we have Serena Gilbert. Serena, welcome.
I'm back. Can't get rid of me for that long, right?
No. We tried.
I felt all the love. You both said you missed me multiple times last time.
We did.
And we had to edit it back in to get that in there twice. Callie, there you are down there in Florida, suffering in that 73-degree weather. Welcome.
Thank you, Jeff. Great to be here tonight.
And do you know what's happening on my birthday this year? Let me give you a clue. WWDC. Figure it out. Come on. June 6th.
So is your birthday June 6th?
Hey, ding, ding. There you go. You put it together real quick. Yeah, it's June 6th, and I'm kind of excited because have you ever been to a WWDC event, virtually or whatever, and think you should get something, and it's your birthday at the same time? It's like, that's going to be tough. Air power.
You'll finally get that for your birthday this year.
Finally. I'm looking forward to it.
For several years.
Are you still hanging on to that dream?
It was something that I put my foot in the water and, said that I would get that. I want that.
He tripled down on it.
Really?
Yeah. Got Tim Cook on my dartboard. But yeah, June 6th, they're going to do the WWDC. I don't know. I'm not too excited yet. Are you gals?
I just can't think of anything that they can do to make it. I mean, it'd be nice if they just fixed some of these bugs with voiceover. None of them are deal breakers for me, but I know for others, they're experiencing pretty significant bugs. I know with iOS 15, the image recognition just got turbocharged. The image recognition is amazing on iOS 15. So I don't know if maybe they could step that up even somehow. I don't know. I don't know where they can go accessibility wise with iOS 16. Can we just get some new sounds? I'd be happy if we just got new text tones. That would make me happy.
Oh, really?
They haven't had new text tones added since iOS 7.
Oh, wow.
So you don't want anything major. You just want the little peripheral things, the little things to add to their experience.
Yeah, just the little things because they've changed things visually, which we could not care less about. I know it sounds really ridiculous, but when iOS 7 came out and they had all these cool new text tones, it was kind of nice,
Mm-hmm.
And now it's we haven't had new text tones and the only new ringtone we got was when the iPhone 10 came out. There's been nothing new. I just want some new sounds. I know it sounds really petty, but that's all I want.
The heart wants what the heart wants, Serena.
Well, the 33rd annual, that's pretty cool. To me, it's wow, the 33rd. I had to go back and start thinking about that. And I guess I wasn't paying attention for about 15 of those years.
I bet there was 10 people at the first one.
Yeah, in a garage.
Yeah. There weren't even developers back then, if you really think about it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was no app store back then.
No, because the app store didn't come out until the iPhone came out, which...
Really?
We're going to have to Google that.
So with the first iPhone, there weren't apps that people could download?
I think that the appeal of the first iPhone was that it had your iPod built into it.
Mm-hmm.
So it had your music and everything, and text messaging looked really cool.
Interesting.
Hey, Ziggy. When did the first iPhone come out? 2000 what?
Thanks for letting me know.
Hey, Google. When did the first iPhone come out?
I think it was 2007.
The date of introduction of iPhone was June 29th, 2007.
It is 2007, Callie. Good job.
Hey, Google.
Just ask, when did the App Store?
When did Apple initiate the App Store?
July 10th, 2008.
Yeah, it's a whole year later.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I knew there was like a time where there wasn't an App Store.
I did not realize that. Interesting.
About a year.
So now you can sound real smart and re-say that sentence.
Yeah, edit that real pretty for us, please.
You're right. You wanted a phone, but you wanted your music too, because we were just used to having the shuffle. Walkmans, remember those?
Yeah.
Discman.
Discman, Walkman.
You're talking
yeah.
about Walkman. That's the tapes.
Yeah, well,
No, they had the CD Walkmans too.
But they were called the Discman.
Oh, is
Yeah.
that what? Oh, you're right. They were called the Discman. Yeah.
and when the MP3 players came out, everyone would shake them to see if they could make it skip, which was so funny. But that's really cool. Thanks for bringing that up. I didn't think about that.
There's a little factoid.
Yeah.
Did anyone ever own a Zune?
I had one.
No way.
I did. But you know what? The screen on it was beautiful. Like, because I had a little bit of vision and it had a huge color screen on it.
Mm.
And it was much easier to load because it was like you plugged it into your Windows computer and it was basically as though it was like you plugged in a flash drive. So you could just copy your files over to a folder and then it would sync with it.
Do you remember iRiver?
My husband had one of those too.
Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of them, but as soon as Apple started getting into the shuffle and then the pods is what blew it wide open.
The little mini ones. Yeah. They were more affordable.
Something that got my attention, and I've done it before, but I paid attention to it this time. It made it so much easier at the airport. Went out to Pittsburgh for the Blind Hockey Festival, and I had an option when Delta said, do you want to put it in your Apple Wallet? I said, yes. And I go to my Apple Wallet, and boom, there's my ticket with the QR code. That thing got me right through all the gates and everything like that. Boom, boom, boom. It was pretty cool. I like that. But a neat little feature that comes with this is when you open your phone up, it's right there. There's an icon right on the phone, right below the clock, and you just tap that. It opens up there's your ticket. Boom. You don't even have to go open it up, go to your wallet, open that up. It's just right there. It's just boom. I'm kind of excited because driver's license / state IDs are now legitimately in the wallet for the state of Arizona.
In Colorado, we have a My Colorado app where our IDs are technically already on our phone via that app. And it's been that way for a while now. So it'll be interesting to see if we integrate it like directly into the Apple stuff eventually. Because I don't have to pull out my ID that much, but it would be nice, especially when traveling. I've always had this paranoia that I'll lose my ID right before I'm supposed to go fly or on vacation. I've always had that paranoia. So it's nice that there's the digital versions and stuff now too.
It starts on the way to the airport. Then you get to the airport.
And then you check it 10 times.
I check my right pocket where my passport is, my left pocket for the wallet.
And then at the TSA place, you're like, it's just so many places.
I have 3 spots I have to, it's just so nerve wracking. And then when you reach and it's not there. Yeah, paranoia is a good word for that. I tell you.
But Miss Callie over there is not excited about digital IDs.
No, not at all. I'm just nervous about handing my phone over to someone. But like I did read, especially about turning your phone over, if I'm not planning on getting arrested or pulled over by the police or anything anytime soon. But, turning my phone over to law enforcement, I would have issues with that, for them to check my ID or something like that, because my phone would have to be unlocked in order for them to access my digital wallet. And then at that point, they'd have access to anything that's on my telephone. So I'm not a fan of it yet. But we'll see how things transpire in the future.
Is it a legal, like if the police pull you over?
It is in Colorado on our Colorado app.
So it's legit?
Because you have to go through so much to even get access to that My Colorado app. It even makes you take like this, it's sort of like Face ID where it's scanning your face to make sure that you are who you are when you sign up. Like you have to put in a lot of stuff to be able to have access to that ID card on your phone.
So Callie, when a police comes up behind you and says, pull that cane over to the grass.
Obviously, I won't be the one driving a vehicle, but it's like you just never know what's going to happen in life where someone will ask for your ID. I'm not comfortable with it turning over my unlocked phone to anyone. accept a trusted person at this time.
Talk about people asking you for something. If you had $2.9 billion and wanted to buy Twitter stock, their board will ask you to join. Did you hear that?
Just
Elon
have
Musk.
$2.9 billion
lying around somewhere.
Yep.
He's
Where
now
did I
the
lose that?
largest stakeholder in Twitter. The largest individual.
Well, who is?
Elon Musk.
You got to say that. Like
I did, but you guys were talking. I kind of said it. In editing, I'll re-emphasize.
You'll fix it, and then you'll make us look silly.
No. Well, he should start it over again. I don't want to look silly.
Because we were talking too much crap about the $2.9 billion.
So they asked him to join the board, and then a couple days later, he said, no way. And you know why? Because he couldn't own more than 14% if he was on the board.
So he's going to buy more stock, you think?
Why else would he turn it down?
Well, he could turn it down because he's busy with Tesla and with SpaceX also. He's got other things on his plate.
I think it's an investment thing. If they tell him, someone tweeted and he actually liked it. It said freedom of speech, blah, blah, blah. But now that you join, you can't say this and can't do that. So I don't know what's going on with $2.9 billion. That's quite a commitment. I mean, I can't even fathom that amount, but to think that it's only 9% of the stocks that are out there, I didn't think Twitter was that big of a company.
Me neither.
But he's probably going, like Serena said, he's probably going to buy more because as a board member, he would have fiduciary responsibilities to Twitter. So it's not like he couldn't rant on Twitter about Twitter,
That's true.
by being on the board, and he probably didn't want to be confined and chained that way.
That's a really good point. I bet you're right.
Well, Twitter accessibility improved. Maybe that's why the value is going up so high lately. I went on and I put a picture out there and I was able to, and it asked me, once I put the picture up there, I just kept swiping and it said add caption and describe it. They even have, when you get to the point, kind of the text box that you're going to put it in, it even says what alt text is and what the benefits are. And you start typing and it goes in and there you go.
Yeah. And I really appreciate the effort that Twitter is putting into accessibility. But what it comes down to it is people. People need to do the work to add the alt text.
Yeah.
And I'm just not seeing any increase in alt text in pictures on Twitter, at least of the people that I follow at this time.
And the alt text has always been there as an option. I feel like Facebook hides the alt text option far deeper than Twitter did, even before this change. Because even with Twitter, there'd be a button as soon as you added the picture, right after the picture that said add alt text. Like it's always been fairly prominent. I guess the biggest change too is when the alt text was added before, somebody who's sighted never even knew it was there. And now I guess the alt text is written out somewhere visually as well on Twitter.
Well, there's actually 2 points that your voiceover will land on. That's all I can say. And I tapped on it. So I successfully did it. And then I posted it and I realized I started typing and then I redid it. But those 2 words, blind hockey, but I only did blind HO. And I didn't think that was going to come
man.
Yeah, so that wasn't going to come out too well. People might misunderstand my intent.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to check to see if they let you edit, and they don't. So I had to take it down.
Because it's a tweet that you can't edit anything on a tweet.
I know, you got to take them down.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny, Jeff.
Yeah. Well, I was listening to it. Oh, wait, I got to take that down.
Yes.
But I did circle through to see if they did add. You can pin, you can do other things, but they don't have the edit. I think that's the biggest thing that upsets me with.
You know how you get the edit button?
Go online. Go on your...
No, you can't even do it online. You have to pay for Twitter Blue.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. It's like $4.99 a month, I want to say, which is their premium version of Twitter. And I forget the other features that you get, but one of the features you get is to be able to edit your tweets.
It's worth it.
I'm not going to pay $4.99 to edit my tweets.
I'll just delete it and resend it.
Yeah.
And I've had to do that on some of the accounts that I manage. It's kind of embarrassing sometimes, but it is what it is, Yeah.
Yeah. My follower list is not deep. So it's like, I don't need to pay $4.99 for the handful of followers that I have in order to do that. No.
Twitter Blue. I decided to check it out. So I went to my Twitter app on my iPhone. Twitter. Tapped it. Went to the menu.
Account menu at blind abilities button.
Went down to Twitter Blue.
Twitter Blue button.
and I subscribe.
Active.
$2.99 a month. We'll see how long it lasts. But here's what I found when I swiped on through the features that they listed.
Feature settings. Undo tweet. Typo. Forgot to tag someone. Give yourself time to preview and make changes to your tweet before it goes live.
This seems to be the closest that there is to get to edit your tweet. But it's more of a preview. You can set the time, the duration of time before it goes live. So you can sit there and stare at it and stare at it and stare at it. Or reread it, or edit it, and then it goes live. But that doesn't seem to be what I really want. What I want is when all of a sudden I see my tweet out there and it says something, peculiar, and I want to change it. Then I want to edit it. I don't want to take it down and do it, but I just want to edit it.
Read without the noise. Ad-free articles. Read ad-free on popular US-based publisher sites, not including paywall access. Top articles. A shortcut to the most shared articles by people you follow. Reader. Read long threads minus the distractions. Customize your Twitter. Bookmark folders. Organize your bookmarks into folders and avoid endless scrolling. Custom navigation. Switch up your navigation and get quick access to your favorite Twitter destinations. App icons and themes. Choose from seasonal and colorful app icons and themes to give your Twitter a whole new vibe.
Some of these things as theme color or icon to improve your vibe doesn't really appeal to me because it's visual.
Get early access.
This would just be a sneak peek. It's up and coming thing. It's not a beta. Just check it out, I guess.
Upload longer videos. You can upload and tweet videos that are up to 10 minutes long. NFT profile photo. Connect your crypto wallet and set your NFT as your profile photo.
Absolutely no interest in NFTs, nor crypto. Keyword, crypto.
Manage subscription. View your subscription details or cancel button. Manage subscription by Apple ID button. Twitter Blue, 1 month, renews May 16th, 2022 button. Twitter Blue, $2.99/month.
So now that I subscribed for this month, I'll check it out. I'll explore. I'll give it a good run through and see what I like about it and get back to you. I would like to note that I subscribed on my Blind Abilities Twitter account, which this purchase does not transfer over to my known as Jeff Twitter account. So it's $2.99 per month per account. So if you want to give Twitter Blue a shot, give it a try. Check it out. And if you don't like it, if you find that it's not worth it, go to settings, go to your ID, go down to subscriptions, and there you can cancel your subscription just like that. Can you schedule with Twitter Blue?
Well, you can schedule with regular Twitter online.
When you say online,
Yeah.
what do you mean online?
Like on Twitter, if you go to twitter.com.
Twitter.com.
Oh.
You can schedule on twitter.com.
Okay.
I don't know that you can do it from the phone. I'm pretty sure you can't, but you can on their website.
Okay. And online, because I read this in an article, you can, if you have somebody following you who you don't want following you, the only way on the app to get rid of them is to block them. But online, on the website, on twitter.com, you can just delete them. You don't have to block them or do anything. You can remove them as a follower. So I have to investigate the twitter.com desktop website to see what other features are available there that are not available on the app.
Pack a lunch.
Oh God. Pack a lunch. Why is the website not that accessible?
No, it's accessible. It's busy. I will say the Twitter website, if you're using JAWS, and I'm not as familiar with VoiceOver on the Mac, but if you're using JAWS and you turn off the virtual PC cursor, there are some really robust shortcuts that help you scroll through the tweets really easily, go from your timeline to your profile to the search and reply and and it's very robust with the shortcut keys that they have.
Where would I find the shortcut keys?
I think it's on if you go to twitter.com, I feel like one of the things that you land on first says keyboard shortcuts.
Oh, okay.
And in order for the keyboard shortcuts to work, you do have to turn off the virtual PC cursor in JAWS.
Mm-hmm.
But once that's off, it works really, really well.
Ah, interesting. I'll have to check that out.
For example, J and K are kind of like previous tweet, next tweet, if you're going through your timeline. So you can very quickly go through it. And then you can hit L for or R for reply and T for retweet. There's just really robust shortcut keys just to quickly go through it if you're using your desktop.
Twitter on the Mac using Safari.
https://twitter.com/home. Home/Twitter web content.
I hit the question mark and boom.
Keyboard shortcuts web dialog close button.
There I got a table with all the shortcut keyboard commands that will help me navigate and complete some actions as well. I'll just run through a few of the keyboard shortcuts from the table using the arrow key.
Shortcut help. Question mark. Next tweet. J. Previous tweet. K. Home. G plus H. Notifications. G plus N. Profile. G plus P. Lists. G plus I. Actions. New tweet. N. Send tweet. Command plus enter. Like L. Reply R. Retweet T.
As Serena said, it's quite robust. I kind of like it. Actually, I do like it. And if you're using a PC, go to your twitter.com homepage and search for your shortcuts. You might be surprised. But what's better than that is what Netflix did. Not just one thumbs up, people. No. 2 thumbs up. Whoa. Game changer.
Isn't that like trademarked?
No, it used to
No,
be what
from the
Siskel
critic.
and Ebert back
Yeah.
in the day.
2 thumbs
They
up.
would give 2 thumbs
was-
up
that
if
was
both
a
of
rating.
them agreed. Yeah.
Yeah. Now Netflix, they took it over. I thought the Beatles owned Apple. That was a big trademark thing that I was wondering about. Anyways, Apple Records.
Yeah.
Go figure.
But I'm looking forward to driving these new 2 thumbs up because my algorithm on Netflix is just not me. It doesn't represent me at all. Most of the things with Netflix are I'm like, why would they recommend this, under things you might like? I'm like, nope.
The Netflix app on the Apple TV is starting to get on my nerves. And I thought it was a voiceover thing, but it happens to my husband too. So when you go into it, you're like, let me find something to watch that I was just watching yesterday under continue watching. And you try to scroll over there and it's like in this weird place where it's like critically acclaimed science fiction movies or something random, So then you have to scroll up like 20 different levels. And then finally you get to continue watching. And I thought it was a voiceover bug, but we were watching something together and he was like, God, it'd be really nice if I just landed on continue watching. I was like, I thought it was just me. No, it's for everyone. I don't understand it.
It used to be right there.
You used to just land right on it. Now it's a cluster and you go over to the right-hand panel of it and it drops way further down the screen. You have to scroll all the way back up to get to continue watching.
Oh my gosh.
So frustrating because on the iPad, it's been fine. I can just get there super easily, but on the Apple TV, it's pretty obnoxious.
On my Samsung television, because I use the app on my Samsung television, it's fine. I always land on continue watching. So it's great there. And on the Flex, it works fine there too.
It's really hard to find lately? Cops are pulling cars over and not finding a body in the car.
When you say a body, do you?
Yeah, you've got to clarify that.
There ain't no body in that car. I can't imagine what the officer did for that split second.
Well, it said that they walked to the car, saw it was empty, then left, and then came back and were like, because I guess the self-driving cars can only test between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. And it got pulled over because it didn't have lights on.
Mhm.
I guess there's an emergency number that the cops call when that happens. They're they pulled over. I just think it's funny that the car pulled over for the cop. That's pretty intelligent. They said that the car pulled over, but then moved and then pulled over again.
They did the stop and then the car took off. I'm not going to say it sped off, but it took off. Yeah, it moved to a different location, which I guess is programmed to do for safe pullover.
A safer place is what it said.
Yeah. I just thought it was hilarious because you got the people saying, there's nobody in there. Nobody in there.
I wonder who got the ticket.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. If I were a blind person in the vehicle, obviously I wouldn't know if the lights were on or not. Would I get the ticket? Another reason I won't be the first in the autonomous car bandwagon.
I bet when self-driving cars finally become really more prevalent, they'll probably be you either purchase or lease your car. And then there's probably going to be on top of that a monthly subscription fee for the actual service that monitors the car and make sure that things are safe and things. I bet it's not going to be, I bought the car and good to go. Because I guarantee you there's going to be some backups and things that you have to pay for to have that.
Yeah, I could see that happen. Yeah.
So did the cops say have a good day or anything or did a autonomous tow truck pull up?
Oh, goodness.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, where does this end?
I think that they let it go on its way because they said they fixed whatever was wrong and made the lights come back on. So,
Engineer number 3. So they can only drive at night, right?
That's what they said is when they're doing their testing, it can only be overnight.
The fewer pedestrians they have to hit between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m.
You're using Clubhouse now. Now they have that night view for the late night Clubhouse people. I thought they shut the lights out on Clubhouse months ago.
I haven't been on Clubhouse in so long. I haven't even scrolled through it.
Oh my gosh.
I pulled it up a couple times just to check it out and stuff. And yeah, there's a couple of random groups that I keep seeing here and there, kind of. Then I go in to see my buddy list.
No one's online.
It's interesting, but it seems to be thriving.
I think it's got its niche.
Yeah.
You know?
But I'm raising my hand here because I am still on Clubhouse. I go on twice a week, as Jeff knows.
Yeah.
Freedom Scientific has 2 events every week, the Ask Sharky on Tuesdays and then Beginner's Corner on Wednesday. And I usually try to listen in on both of those because I'm still learning JAWS. And even as I get better with JAWS, I'll come across something while I'm working with JAWS. I'm like, I'm going to ask this at the next Beginner's Corner because I can't figure this out. You know, like I learned about the differences between running JAWS as an open window versus running it in the system tray. So I didn't even know that was like a thing. And I prefer having it in the systems tray because so many times I Alt F4 when I'm on the JAWS window and I like accidentally unload it. So I'm like, this way, if it's in the system tray, it's safely tucked away from my doing that.
It's out of the way.
Yeah.
I run mine from the system tray too. I don't know a whole lot of people that don't run it from the system tray.
Really? Because at the
It's
Lighthouse,
not hard to
the Lighthouse,
access
that's the way they run it is as a window.
Oh, I find that so annoying.
Yeah, that's the only way I thought that I could run it until I learned that there was a different way to run it. And I love having it in the system tray. So yes, I am still on Clubhouse, Jeff, twice a week. And I do like the dark screen mode because like when I do go on Clubhouse, I switch on smart invert because I have residual vision and that bright white light.
It is
my
bright.
Gosh, it's like, I can't like take it. So I always switch it to smart invert. So it'd be nice to have the dark mode feature available. And from what I understand, there are going to be 2 different ways. If your phone is set to dark mode system wide, it would automatically adjust to dark mode, or you can go into the settings within the app to turn dark mode on, depending upon your preferences.
Cool.
So I'm looking forward to it.
There was a change that was made, and I always wonder about these think tanks that make these changes and how long did they think about it. Imdb from Amazon, their free streaming service, changed the name to, it rhymes with TV, so it's Free V. That's Freevee. So I said to myself, I remember in 5th grade, nothing against 5th graders, God bless them, but really? Free V.
I don't get the name either. It's weird.
Okay.
It's goofy.
Are you sure that wasn't from April 1st? No, I saw it with you though. I did see it.
Maybe they meant it to be released on 420.
I don't know why they didn't just integrate it with just Prime TV or whatever. Like, why does it have to be its own separate thing?
It's free.
It's free. I guess that's where you go to, like, I can watch, Judy Justice there and other kind of retro television there. But I see that they're also bringing aboard more scripted and unscripted programming to this streaming network. Streaming seems to be the place to be, but there's so many out there. Like, I had to go online one time to ask somebody, what is Tubi? Because I didn't know what it was, because there's something that was on Tubi and Pluto. They're just so many free streaming services out there that I have no clue about. And, I don't even know what's on those free streaming services.
But is that the prerequisite that it has to sound like a name of a puppet from your childhood or something? I mean,
Tubi, Pluto. Well, Pluto was a doggy.
Yeah. They're sticking with the thing. Kind of like when an Android would come out. Remember all the different software names? Ice cream.
Kit Kat.
Yeah.
Jelly Bean. Apple just goes with iOS 14, iOS 15, iOS 16.
How boring. But we got the investors behind your Peloton, Serena.
The one I haven't ridden in a month. That my husband keeps reminding me of.
Ouch. Just like the commercial.
Yeah, I was going to think the same thing too.
Oh, man. Honey, haven't been on that bike for a while, huh?
Well, he's more so hey, it's $40 a month. Are you going to use it or what?
Pass me another biscuit. Be quiet. But the investors got together and they're trying to encourage. How could you encourage Apple to buy your product? Tim.
It would be nice if they would buy it, though. Honestly, it would be really nice. But I don't think they ever will, because the tablets are Android tablets. They're on every single Peloton. There's no way. They're not going to,
I mean, the closest thing the Apple having a mobile product, in a sense, would be the car supposedly working on, which will probably sell for $100,000 at the time it comes out. But the Peloton, I don't see them having a mechanical device.
No, not one that
No.
has like maybe that they create from the ground up. I don't see them buying something like Peloton because they would want to then retrofit it all with iPads.
Mhm.
And I just don't see how they're going to be able to do that, because the bike that I have has like a 24-inch screen, I believe. There's no iPads that are 24 inches,
24 inches? Oh my gosh.
It's either
that's
24 or
huge.
22. Yeah, it's pretty big.
That's a monitor.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you think about it, when you're sighted, it also turns. So when you're on the bike, it's obviously facing you, but it turns 360 degrees. So you can be in front of the bike and do some of the core classes that they have, which I've never done that because they're hard to follow along if you don't know what they're doing.
That's 180.
But no, you can literally make it go 360 degrees though. Like
Oh,
it'll
really?
turn yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll turn completely around all the way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Apple, take note. It's just kind of funny that the investors would call upon Apple again because they don't like the CEO. Wow.
Well, they think Apple could be the savior that they need,
I would rather see Amazon buy it, honestly. I see it more likely that Amazon would buy it than Apple.
Yeah, I'd hate to say, hey, Portal, let's run.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
No, we don't want Facebook doing it.
Here's something that came across my desk. Sounds important, doesn't it?
It really does.
Elon Musk. What about Elon replacing Tim Cook?
Could you imagine?
Oof.
He wouldn't work for that. They don't pay enough at Apple for him. That would be a pay cut for him.
Yeah, really.
That's true. And plus, they're going back to work, too.
I don't understand. Like, I think Google's going back to work too. Like, I understand there's obviously parts like, if you're an engineer, you might have to be in the office a couple days a week. I get that because you're physically, doing R&D and manipulating things. But if you're the person at the Disability Support Center answering chats and questions, like, why do you physically have to be in the office? That does not make sense to me. Maybe I'm spoiled now, but it doesn't all make sense.
Well, it seems like everybody's going back into the office, not just technology companies, just everybody's heading back into the office now. It is a luxury to be able to continue to work from home, but it seems like employers want their people in the building, it seems like.
The state of Colorado, like a lot of our employees are permanent work from home now. Like my husband just got a new job where he's working for the state now again, and his job is 100% work from home. And they're considering so much so that in Colorado, we don't own hardly any of our buildings. So they're considering dropping leases as they expire and things like that, so that the footprint's smaller and we
That's
don't have
huge.
all that cost. And
Wow.
we just have drop-in offices. Like if you need to come in, here's a cubicle or whatever, but no one has a permanent space, if that makes sense. We don't even have phones in a lot of our offices anymore, other than the main one. Nobody has desk phones anymore. It's all cell phones. So different now.
So what's going on for people who are taking VR classes, vocational rehab classes, or O&M classes?
O&M was always in the community anyways. We don't do group VR classes and things like that. It was always pretty much one-on-one. So if you wanted some daily living skills, someone came to your house and would help you with daily living skills, maybe weekly or bi-weekly. Same with O&M. It was always field-based in the first place.
Mhm.
Wow, that is definitely not the way it is here in Florida at all. So yeah, you guys are definitely different.
You're going to the Lighthouse, which
Yeah, VR is
provides
a lot
all
different.
those services.
Mhm.
But they're probably supported by your VR. That's where the payments are coming through. But state services for the blind in Minnesota, they'll have a vendor go out and service. Because not everybody wants to be in a classroom setting. They just may need to get familiar with their college. And so they might get 7 hours or 8 hours worth of O&M training for that purpose, to familiarize themselves with their classes or the campus, something like that. That's where your agencies come in. Some people hardly ever go into your blind inks or your training centers. They just need a little
Field-based sometimes is more effective
field-based.
for people.
Yeah. Take that, Callie.
Well, and then there's also a difference too. So a few years ago, and by a few, I mean, gosh, it was probably 7 or 8 years ago, the rehabilitation, the WIOA stuff changed, where
yeah.
we used to be able to do homemaker plans where we could write a plan for employment that said, we're helping you to be able to stay independently in your home, and we'll consider you successfully rehabilitated once you meet these daily living skills goals. Well, that changed where we can no longer do that. And it had to be a legitimate employment goal in order for anyone to get services from VR. So what that did is then there's OIB grants and things like that technically DVR still funds, but people aren't served through DVR unless they are pursuing employment. So things like the Lighthouse and things like that, those are grant funded. They don't have the resources to do as much field-based and one-on-one things as VR does.
Well, my Lighthouse, they do a combination of both. Like my O&M instructor, on Fridays, she does outreach. Well, she'll go out in the field, and when people get employed, she will obviously go to their place of employment and do O&M training with them so they know how to get from point A to point B to point C at their new jobs. So it's a combination at the Lighthouse here, but the VR is all taught on campus, on site. You have to like show up there to do it.
That is very surprising to me because that's not practical when it comes to like daily living skills. Your kitchen's different than the kitchen at like an agency, for example.
Well, the whole thing that they do, because I took the home and personal management is what they call it at my Lighthouse. And obviously their kitchen is different setup from mine. I mean, their microwave, their ovens, everything is different from what I have. But the skills that they taught me is just how to figure out how to use the skills that they're teaching me there to adjust my appliances here, where to put the bumpy dot and stuff like that. So I have friends, who came over and says, okay, I want to bump dot on 2, 5, and 0 on my oven. It's because, I'll know to the left of 5 will be 4. So if I need to do something at 400, I know that's over there. I don't have anything or 7, 8, or 9 because God, I'm not cooking anything at 700 degrees or, or 800 degrees, so I've just got basic there. But
you're not into fusion at all? Just checking.
No.
Wait, what you're talking about is transferable skills. So you're going to learn a set of skills that you can bring wherever you go. Even you could bring some of that to when you're visiting someone's house. You could put a temporary marker for the coffee. If your friend likes to get up at the crack of noon and you want your coffee around 6 or 7, you could just put a bump on the 30-second. I love the 30-second button on microwaves because I'll just hit it 3 times.
You just keep pushing it.
Well, it's simple. Like if I have to do something, if it says to do it for a minute 30, I don't want to go 1 minute, then to the 3, then to the 0. I'll just hit that 30-second one 3 times. Boom, boom, boom.
And you know what my favorite tactile markers are? I believe they're by Halo. It's on Etsy.
It's Halo.
If you type in like Halo tactical or not tactical.
Tactile markers.
Tactile. There we go. I knew I wasn't saying the right word. They're super good quality. The first set I got was foam, but she improved it significantly, and it's almost like a plastic in a way. Yeah. And the ones that go on the microwave, they're clear, so people who are sighted can still see the numbers, and they stay on there. Like the foamy ones and the regular bump dots, eventually fall off, at the most inopportune time. But they're so nice. Like they're really high quality and they have unique shapes for different things on the microwave, like a plus sign or an X sign, or there's even one that's like shaped like popcorn or like pizza. And then for the oven, there's like a little mitt for the self-cleaning. You can mark everything that you would need to do on your oven. It's really cool.
And they come in sets. So you can get the kitchen one.
You can get
there's a laundry room one, and there's actually like 3 different sets.
There's a dishwasher one too for those newer dishwashers.
And I'll put a link in the show notes because I had her on a podcast, and you can get some information from that just by clicking it, go in the show notes, and click right over to their website. And
they're pretty affordable and they last way longer than regular bump dots.
Well, my bump dots have been on my oven for like 2 years now. Those puppies have not moved. It's like, I think they're like glued on or something. And they are the clear ones that my friend put on, for me. I was like, these things are not moving at all.
It's whatever works for you. On my treadmill, I have these fuzzy ones. They feel like felt, but they're perfect because the pad that you're supposed to be pressing is probably about the size of a quarter or something like that. If I put a little bump dot right in the center, it would slowly crack that because you're hitting it with a pencil, you know what I mean? Unsharpened pencil, because it's just pressing in one spot. It wants the pressure of the spread out of your thumb or your index finger. So I just put these felt things like you would put underneath a knickknack that's on a shelf that you don't want to scratch the wood. So I just used that, and I just feel there's 2 there for faster and slower, and then over on the incline, up and down. No, I don't have something with an arrow going up, but if you use it enough and don't...
You know how it's laid out.
If you don't let it sit for a month, you probably remember the bump dots. And
hey, when were you last on your rowing machine?
I had to put it up. We moved. Now that you bring that up.
Yeah, sure.
We moved Lori's workstation. She likes it now. She's down there. To the left, she has an exercise machine, and to the right, a treadmill. And during work, she can, while she's in meetings, she can go over and start doing exercise. Yeah, she has a big whole living room downstairs. She really likes it there. It's open, it's not confining, and
So she works from home sometimes too now.
5 days a week now.
Wow.
Oh, so she's permanent work from home too. Yeah. Isn't it amazing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Charles and I will both be working from home. He has his workspace in the basement. I have my office on the main level. So,
Well, there's the commons area.
Mhm.
There's changes. Believe me, you'll find the changes that'll come. It's interesting because you've been working at home for over 2 years now. You have your habits.
exactly.
We won't get into them. But
They all revolve around snacks and food. Like,
yeah, but now there's someone else, this shadow. Once in a while, it's like,
And it doesn't with him being in the basement, because my office, it is truly an office on the main level. So it's separate from like the common area of the living room and the kitchen.
Mhm.
And even before he switched to this job, he came home for lunch every day
Ah.
because he only worked like 10 minutes away. So it's not as dramatically different as you might think.
Yeah,
I just have to get used to having extra noise is really what it is.
it is. And when you're working, that extra noise, you may think it's not bad, but your one eyelid lifts up a little bit, then your head
Yep.
turns.
And then it starts. Yep. So we're learning how to be good co-workers, and it's gotten better. So
That's really exciting. That is, both work from home, especially during the gas crunch.
I would not want to work from home.
Oh, I love it, Kelly. I could not imagine going back into the office.
I would not. I would like to be in an office and brainstorming with my coworkers and
But we do.
talking to people and having contact with people and,
That's the thing though, Kelly. I have so much, like I was on video meetings today for probably 6 hours of my day. I know it sounds weird, but like I almost talk to my coworkers more.
You get
No.
almost more acclimated to that style. It's more of a convenient style because you don't have to be on your way to a meeting.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's definitely more efficient.
I never had a job where I was in meetings a lot. So that's what I'm missing out on because my job did not revolve around meeting.
Well, you know how you used to say, I got stuck in traffic? Now you can say, I got stuck between screens.
But I did see somebody tweet that they had to go back into the office to work. And then they tweeted out that they spent 6 hours, like Serena said, on Zoom meetings in the office. So it's like,
It makes
what
zero
was the point of coming back
Yeah.
to the office? And I'm going to spend, more than half of my day in Zoom meetings. So
Doesn't make sense.
yeah, that does not make sense. I agree with that, but I would like to work in the office. If I get a part-time job or something, I would like something where I have to go somewhere and be around people, but that's me.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm so spoiled now. I'm like, no, I'm good. Can we do it via Zoom? Cool.
Cool. Great. No,
I was
get
going
it.
into the podcast app for developers and for podcasters on the Apple website. And I was looking for where you can put the host picture, guest pictures. So when you do a podcast, they can go down and you can have like the 3 co-hosts right there or the guest picture, it more of a marketing type of thing too. Then they could click on that and go see what other podcasts they're in or that type of thing.
That makes sense.
So I went to put a picture in there. So I said, I got a picture. Boom. I go into my phone, swipe, and it said, oh, no. We don't accept that type of picture. And I'm thinking,
The one from your iPhone.
hey, Tim, this is your phone. I'm basically leasing it. And you won't take the picture that your phone took to go onto your website.
Oh, that's so funny.
But the fastest way to do it, and there's going to be a link in the show notes here, I figured it out. I did a quick check. How do you convert HEIC files that are in your phone or HIEC? I'll fix that in editing. And
Mine come out as JPEGs.
well, if you take it from your photos and save it to file, then it's a JPEG. So that's all I did. I just shared it to my file folder, and then I took it from there, and it was a JPEG. And it was like,
That makes zero sense.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. Like I read that article and it was like way above my head. Like, as you guys know, I am not the tech person on this team here. So I was like, huh?
Well, it's just that the requirements are sometimes to put a photo to upload to use. You can't use the HEIC photos, but you can use JPEG. And there may be, I haven't found it yet, where when you take a picture, you have them saved on your phone, or if they go to the cloud, one way or the other, maybe you can initiate a JPEG setting that's default. So I wanted to know how I can convert it, and I wanted to do it just my phone. I didn't want to jump around from my phone to my Mac to my, it just gets, so I just moved it over to files, and when I went there, I grabbed it, and there it was. Boom.
Does it let you
JPEG.
add alt text?
Not at that point. It depends on the program that is going to put it onto the web. Like, that's where it would be.
Oh, I mean,
going.
in the podcast thing, did it let you add alt text to the picture?
I never found it totally in the podcast part, but I found it in my Libsyn section, and I put it in there. And I was just going through that process, but I realized I just wanted to find out, is it now on my podcast? So I went to the podcast and I don't see it. So then I started digging into the Apple stuff. And so that's how that ended up. I haven't completely figured it out how to, or if they've let anybody and everybody do it, or if just a selected amount of, maybe you need 1 million listeners to be able to do all that stuff. I'm not sure yet.
Question for you, Jeff. If it did have alt text, how would you describe your picture?
I would just say something, smiling, I would just go to the more like a caricature type of description. Than I'm not going to say, he should have shaved or something like that.
So you're not going to put Brad Pitt look-alike, 10 years in the future or something like that?
That's funny.
Hold on. How do you spell Pitt?
He's like,
Got
great.
it. Good one, Kelly. I knew you were
I'm
here.
horrible at those self descriptions when I'm on something where somebody asks of that. They make me uncomfortable, honestly.
yeah.
I just do what people say, he, him, whatever, blue shirt, smiling, brown hair. What more do you need?
Well, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, Jeff.
They say you can only use 100 letters for alt text. But that's on Facebook. On Twitter, it does give you 1,000 words. So a picture is worth 1,000 alt text words on Twitter. But on Facebook, a picture is only worth 100 words. So take that, Mr. Mark Zuckerberg. What's that suggestion that it says when you use alt text on Facebook, when you put it in there and you go over?
Yeah, but I think it says 100, but I've put way more than 100 and it's fine.
I know it's...
I put way more than 100 on Facebook also.
But there is a warning. There is suggested.
I've seen some alt text where you're just like, okay, this was a little too much. But you want it to be enough where somebody really understands the photo. It's just all about what's the purpose of the picture,
So let's jump into Twitter.
Twitter account menu button.
I'm going to compose a new tweet.
Compose tweet button. What's happening? Text field.
And then I'm going to go down just about mid-screen there, and I'm going to find where I can add a photo.
Photo library button.
I'm just going to select a random photo for this example. Once I select it,
Photo selected.
then I click Add.
Add button.
Brings me back to the composed tweet page.
What's happening? Text field.
Once I'm here, I'm going to go to the photo and single finger double tap on it so I can get to some more settings, some more options that I can do.
Image, April 10th. Image.
Single finger double tap. If I do a 4-finger single tap down near the bottom, because the tab I'm looking for is down in the bottom right-hand corner,
Mark your tweet as containing sensitive content button.
I'll swipe back to the left once,
All text button.
and there it is. Single finger double tap.
Describe this photo. Text field is editing. Word mode. Insertion point at start.
And this is where I can put in the alternative text for the photo. And if I swipe to the right, there's a section where you can go to find out more about what is alt text.
What is alt text? Link.
We'll come back to that. Swipe to the right,
0/1000.
and there it is. 0/1000. May not be 1,000 words, but at least it's 1,000 characters to describe the photo. Sweet. So let's swipe back.
What is alt text? Link.
Single finger double tap.
How to make images accessible for people. Heading level 1. When you tweet photos using the Twitter app for iOS or Android, or on Twitter.com, you have the option to compose a description of the images so the content is accessible to more people, including those who are blind or low vision. Good image descriptions are concise and descriptive, helping people understand what's happening in an image.
So there's a lot more that you can go into detail in this section. So it's kind of neat that Twitter is doing this much for accessibility. Yeah. Well, I heard in 22, we're going to get the AirPods Pro 2.
I need them. My AirPod Pros 1 are biting the dust. They don't hold their charge anymore. They'll say they're 100%. I'll listen to them for like 15 minutes and then I'll be like, doo-doo-doo. The 10%. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But I don't want to buy new ones.
Well, at least you still have yours.
Yeah. Do you want to share with the listeners what happened to yours?
Oh my God. Yeah. Well,
Gravity?
my AirPod Pro, I'm only rocking one right now, guys, because coming into my development, we have these speed bumps and the paratransit bus, which has 0 shock absorbers. And I almost made it home. We went over the final speed bump before he had to turn left to come into my parking area. We were driving through the development, went over the speed bump, and out came my AirPod Pro.
Is that the sound it made?
out came my AirPod Pro, and like they said on the old show Hee Haw, and it was gone. We could not find that puppy at all. And I did the Find My on my phone, and we were listening for it, and we couldn't hear anything. And there were 5 other people still in the van waiting to go home. So it was like, well, I can't hold these people up much longer while I'm like looking, because I had already been on the paratransit bus for like 2 hours and 23 minutes. You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness.
So it was like, oh my goodness. So yeah, it's gone. I did splurge. And I know Serena is going to hate this, but I purchased the AirPod 3s because I had the AirPod Pros and I hated the silicone tips. Hated, just didn't like them at all. They made my ear itch. They were just like not comfortable for me. And I would always go back to my AirPod 1s, the original ones that I had, because they just fit so perfectly. And I just really like them. Yeah, they don't have all the bells and whistles. I don't get noise cancellation or anything with the original AirPods, but they just feel so much better in my ear. And they never fell out. So I went for the AirPod 3s and I got them. And the part that goes into, well, they don't go in your ear, that sit outside of your ear, just, outside the canal. They're so comfortable and just so much better. I have the spatial audio. I don't have noise cancellation, but the spatial audio, I don't even like use that feature. But I am very happy with the ones that I have right now. And I don't plan to go back to the AirPod Pros again, as long as they have the silicone tips.
The AirPod Max 2s are coming out.
Ooh, how much are they going to be? I wonder.
I'll believe it when I see it with that, because that just came out last year. So I'd be shocked if another one came out this year of that one.
Yeah, these are rumors. I mean, they've been talking about the AirPower for, I kind of, am I the only one that keeps this alive?
I think you were the only one that latched onto that, honestly.
It made sense, though. I studied the science behind it, the wiring schematics and everything like that. I said, that's really smart. And then it started burning everything. And
So you would have preferred to have your house burned down? Like,
no, I really don't.
You had to think about that way too long.
House on fire or air power?
It really was a long pause.
Now they got like a 30-watt charging block. I got the 20-watt charging block, and my phone charges real fast. I'm intrigued by these battering things. I like that one-to-go one that they came out with, where you can put 3 things when you're traveling. Mm-hmm. But honestly, I just plugged in all my stuff. The hotel that I was at, my watch went here. It was
There's
fine.
usually plenty of plugs.
Yeah. The only thing is, I was in this
built
hotel.
into the lamp there.
Yeah, but I plugged it in and it was wiggling and it goes. Zzz,
yes, that always happens. I don't know what it is with the hotel plugs and why they're like loose.
Yeah, like if it was tilted away, it wouldn't hold it in. Mm-hmm. Those things just set in there.
You have to like prop it up. Like,
yeah.
They're always loose. It's the weirdest thing.
The 5th best use for bubble gum, right there.
Right.
Gross.
Can I just tell you something? And this goes to show you how little I know about technology. I remember when I first started hearing about wireless charging, I actually thought it was wireless. That you could.
So did I. No, I thought it would just be sitting in a spot and it would just.
Well, no, I just thought you could just walk around with your phone with Wi-Fi and it would be charging. I just didn't, because to me, wireless charging is not truly wireless, because like you got to put something in it. And I'm like, it's still not.
Kelly, I thought the same thing when they started talking about that. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like,
And then, because like when I mentioned it to my IT guy, he kind of looked at me and his like head was about to explode. He was like, "No," it's not. I'm like, well, with it, what's the big deal about wireless charging if I still got to plug something in? It just didn't make any sense to me.
So you want Apple to come out with the brand new wireless extension cord, the lightning cable without it just be the lightning.
I thought the same thing, though. Laugh away, Jeff.
Yeah,
Laugh away.
Serena knows her tech. I don't. So I was just like, I don't get the big deal, you know? Can I just mention when I purchased my AirPod 3s, you know how Apple will send you a confirmation of the purchase? I changed my Apple ID about a month ago, but my email confirmation went to my old Apple ID.
Ooh.
I was on the phone with Apple for about an hour to figure out why it went there, because when I went to appleid.apple.com to check what my Apple ID was, the new Apple ID was correct in there. The new Apple ID is correct on my iPhone. The new Apple ID is correct on my MacBook laptop. So I'm like, I couldn't figure out why it went there. So when I called Apple, I got transferred around like 3 times until I finally got to somebody who says, "Oh, it's in here as your old Apple ID." I'm like, well, why? Because I thought if I changed it on appleid.apple.com that it would change across all platforms. And for some reason, it didn't. With the Apple Store, it remained with my old Apple ID.
Was that person's name Tim? Just checking.
Yeah, because I know that you sent an article out about managing your Apple ID. So I don't understand where the ball was dropped. It wasn't dropped by me.
And that's why I sent it out, because I saw it and I knew you had just went through that process. Why would someone want to change their Apple ID or their password?
I changed mine because my old Apple ID, for some reason, I started getting a ton of spam. And I don't mean like spam just trickling in, 4 or 5 or 6 daily. These things are coming in like every 15 minutes to my old Apple ID. And I've had that Apple ID address for 18 years, since 2002. And I never got spammed there because it's an email address that I only use for my personal needs. My MSN account, people can spam me there all day long. I don't really care because that's my social media email address and whatnot. So I was surprised I started getting all of this. So that's the reason why I wanted to change and did change my Apple ID to a different email address.
Was the process easy?
Yeah, it was super easy. I actually did it on appleid.apple.com and immediately saw the change on my iPhone, on my MacBook Air, and on the iPad.
It's self-populated onto your phone?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have to go and change it on all of them?
Nope.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah, so that's why I just didn't know why the Apple Store sent the email confirmation to the old one. But now we have it resolved. So everything is good in the world now. But I'm still migrating from my old email address to my new one because I'm just waiting to see what else trickles in there before I actually shut it down.
That's a process. I wish I could do that because my email address is spam ridden. If you ever want to laugh, especially with Gmail, go look at your spam folder because some of the things that come to it are very ridiculous. Some of them are lewd.
Oh my God.
But I'm so initiated in that email address. I'm just too lazy to do it, to change it, it's a lot of work.
I know this working from home really gets all this time we're saving from driving.
We find ways to fill it. It's just like when you get a new job and you're like, how did I live on my college salary? I never wanted for anything. And then you get a job and you work full time and all of a sudden
you want just stuff.
Yeah. It's things have a way of just finding a way to work themselves out,
Yeah. You want to go see Halsey 4 or 5 times.
Yes, of course. We tried to go see Dave Chappelle and Dave Chappelle announced a show a week, 10 days before he was going to be here. His show was Easter Sunday, ironically. I had Charles get us tickets and I was like, do the accessibility thing so he had the accessibility tickets and he was like, I don't like these seats. So then he exited and guess what?
They were sold out.
Show sold out.
No way.
I was like, that's what you get for being picky.
Chucky.
He was like, but the accessibility
Chucky.
seats weren't even that good. And I'm like, well,
They're a lot better than what he's got now.
yeah. I was like, you knew it was a popular show. Like, come on.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Lori's son has a van and he wants to build it so he can go off the grid. And I was trying to explain to him, if my phone is out of my possession for 5 minutes, I'm off the grid.
I agree. My husband makes fun of me all the time. If I leave it in the kitchen and he's here and I come back out, I'm like, have you seen my phone? He's like, I was timing to see how long you would come looking for it.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, well, and he was like, you came back like 2 seconds before I thought you would. It's embarrassing.
I can defend myself when someone says, they talk about, oh, these kids nowadays are always on the phone. I don't blame them, because I can transfer anything that I'm doing onto my phone right to my Mac by cut and paste. It's just so easy. It's a working tool. I use it for work.
Well, I'm not on mine for work. I can guarantee you that.
You know what I mean?
It's an efficiency tool for you.
Yeah, it is.
I get that. For me, it's literally Facebook and Twitter and Google News and email. Even though I have like 700 unread email between all my email accounts right now.
Rena.
Well, because one of them is just so spammy. And then, we're in the middle of some real estate stuff right now. So I'm really just prioritizing the emails that have to be read, because we get so many that are time sensitive that I don't really bother to go clean out the rest that are, spammy.
Yeah. For me, I enjoy the time where I put my phone down and don't have to look at it, think about it, or have an alert come through or anything like that. It's just like, I can breathe. I just love those moments. So I'm not tied to my phone at all.
I do that like 30 minutes after I go to bed. I finally rest it and we both crash and then we both get up in the morning and we're off and running again.
Is that the first thing you grab when you wake up in the morning is your phone?
Well, the alarm's on it, of course. Like,
yeah. Hello. And then there's the message.
And then as soon as the alarm goes off, you see that there's 7 other notifications,
Honestly, I try and leave it next to my bed when I first get up and go tend to the dogs, tend to this, and get stuff going in the morning. I make my first cup of coffee and sit down and have my cup of coffee and just cycle through it.
I recognize completely that this is an irrational fear now. But ever since we had that fence situation happen in our backyard, I refuse to go in my backyard without my cell phone. I know it's a super irrational fear, because even when it happened and I came down to figure out what the noise was, I didn't have my phone. I had to run up the stairs to go get it. So now it's like, I'm never going back there again without it. And I know it's really irrational.
No,
the chance of it
Serena,
happening
that
twice.
is not irrational. I mean, I take my phone with me when I walk to my mailbox or I walk to my dumpster, just in case.
You just never know.
You just never know. And like I said, I've gotten turned around a couple of times and Ira has pulled my butt out of situations, a couple of times. So I do take it with me whenever I leave my home. But while I'm in my home, like I'll get up in the morning, like tomorrow I have to go to the lighthouse. First thing I'll do is check my paratransit status to see the approximate time I'm going to arrive at the lighthouse. And that will like put a crimp into my days to start with. And I'm like, but that's like the first thing that I'll do. And then I put it back on the charger until like I leave. And then while I'm in paratransit, I'll listen to Sirius XM radio, or sometimes I'll listen to the Today Show on Sirius XM until I get to the lighthouse. And then it's on Do Not Disturb from that time that I go in paratransit until I'm done at the Miami Lighthouse. Then after the lighthouse, I again turn it on to music, or sometimes I'll read NFB Newsline to read my local newspaper, the Miami Herald and
you
Sun
do need
Sentinel.
a break from it.
Because she's got so much paratransit time. That's what my day would look like too. And with paratransit, I would get so much like social media stuff sometimes. That would be my times I would schedule a lot of social media, because I was sitting on the bus for an hour and a half.
Yeah. But am I like the only one? I don't like to talk on the phone while I'm in paratransit.
Oh, I've definitely talked on the phone while
really. I'm like,
I mean, sometimes you can't. I mean, sometimes you just get a call. You can't. I usually don't initiate a call, but if I get one, I'm going to take it.
I don't take calls. If the phone rings, I'm like, I'm just going to let it go to voicemail. I'm just like, I've never been comfortable with technology, with people overhearing my conversations. I know.
I just changed the person's name, like, Barack, what's happening? How's Michelle?
How's Michelle doing?
Yeah, Bono, when are you coming over tonight? What time?
You mentioned Do Not Disturb, and that reminded me, like, I was texting with a friend last week. You know how when you text somebody and they're on Do Not Disturb and you can hit that notify anyway button?
Yeah.
And I was joking with him. I was like, you're lucky I'm not a jerk and I'm not hitting the notify anyway button. He was like, what do you mean? And I was like, it says you're on do not disturb. And he was like, it shouldn't be. And he's like, actually, I'm not. And I was like, because he's like, I'm getting the alerts. And I was like, well, you'll get them if you're like actively on your phone and unlocked. And he was like, no, like I locked my phone and tested it and still got the alert. And I sent him the screenshot. It was like, blah, blah, blah is on do not disturb. And he's like, I don't know. And I was like, well, your phone probably hates you because of how many times you cussed out Siri. So he hated Siri when she first came out.
So if you hate Siri, or if you don't hate Siri, give us a call. Let us know. 612.
612. I don't know the rest.
I don't know the rest either.
612-367-6093. Give us a call. Let us know how you feel about Siri, and we'll share it with the rest of the world. All right, Serena, Callie, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time on Tech Abilities.
You didn't do your stay safe. Oh man.
Stay well.
Stay informed.
Stay strong.
Safe. Strong. I wouldn't have done it right anyway.
Do you still need to do that? Because COVID is waning.
Not in Philadelphia, apparently.
Oh yeah, I know, because they're bringing back mandates.
And they just extended the transportation one too by 2 weeks.
And if you're from Philadelphia, stay informed and stay strong.
Stay well.
Stay well, stay informed, and stay safe.
I thought it was strong. Which is it?
It's strong. It's stay well,
it's
stay
strong.
informed, stay strong.
And for you, all of you across America, have a good one. And for you in Philadelphia, stay well, stay informed, and stay strong.
And then cue our funky music, right?
And for more podcasts with the Blind News Perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter at blindabilities, and give us a call at 612-367-6093. Leave us a message and let us know if we can put your voice on the next podcast. Drop us an email at info@blindabilities.com and download the free Blind Abilities app from the App Store and Google Play Store. That's 2 words, Blind Abilities. And from all of us here at Blind Abilities, through these challenging times, to you, your family, and friends, stay well, stay informed, and stay strong. I want to thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed. And until next time, bye-bye.
When we share
what we see
through each other's eyes,
we can then begin to bridge the gap between
the limited expectations
and the
reality of blind ability.
The realities of blind abilities.
Blind abilities.